times have you completely run away from anything, any program of any kind, of coaching, of anything that has to do with leadership? Because one, it's probably scary and it's too much responsibility. And or two, you do not want to be a leader at all. If you said yes to any one of those, and if this is you, this episode is for you. Let's get to it. Are you a beauty or barber pro looking for that push to do that thing you've always wanted to do, whether it's in or out of the salon, spa, or shop? Are you tired of not feeling good enough, smart enough, skilled enough? Are you tired of not getting a handle on your mental health, boundaries, and insecurities? I'm Krystine Sherwood, the BeautyPro coach, an internationally certified coach, a salon and spa owner, and your personal Jiminy Cricket. I use my own experiences, good and bad, as a salon owner to help you be more self-aware, authentic, and forward-thinking in your approach to life, in and out of the salon. It's time to reach your version of success with the BeautyPro Coach podcast. So if you have subscribed to the BeautyPro podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and or YouTube, by now you'll have listened and seen our guest speakers. You've heard their experiences and wisdom, and just overall, there is a theme. And that theme is leadership. For whatever reason, we as human beings, as beauty and barber pros, we freak out with the thought of leadership. Like the word itself just kind of like spooks people. And so it's kind of like when we hear the word boundaries or rules, we stiffen up our butt cheeks, we get a cold sweat, and we run away. It's fight or flight, right? And here's the thing. Whether you want to be a genuine leader at the salon, at the spa, barbershop, or you just want control over your life, right? You are searching for leadership, that dreaded L word, right? So here's what we got to do, okay, so that we're not afraid of it. I remember when I was afraid of it, and for me, it was a little bit different because for me, I was always like, in kindergarten, I did not play Barbies. I played shop, right? So I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, which is naturally, I guess, a leadership kind of spirit. But there was a time when I was a little nervous about it. And when I had that feeling, I quickly got a hold of myself and I was like, wait. No, what am I going to do? I'm going to be scared my whole life? No way. And so I tackled that. And since I have tackled that, I have had relationships, good and bad. I've had employees, good and bad. I've had all the things, good and bad, all because I didn't let that feeling of fear get me down. And so, first off, for today's episode, I want to tell you that it's a mindset issue. Maybe you have some kind of interpretation, assumption, something is going on with your Gale, which that is a podcast episode. I encourage you. I can't remember the number of it, but it is a podcast episode. So go and listen to that episode about Gale. But something is happening in your mind that your Gale is screaming at you, saying that leaders are arrogant, or leaders are a pain in the ass, or leaders are greedy. That's my favorite, right? As a salon owner, as a international life coach, I've had employees, people that I've worked with, they say, "Oh my God, she's so greedy." No, it's called a budget, but that's besides the point. Whatever it is, you have background noise keeping you afraid of becoming a leader. Somewhere in your past, you have been programmed to be afraid of leadership because of rejection, isolation, failure. It's passed down beliefs from your people who have surrounded you, your family, friends, coworkers, whatever. So what do we do? What do we do? We do nothing about becoming our true selves, about becoming the leader that we have always been born to be, whether it's in the salon, spa, barber shop, whatever. We do nothing about losing out. For me, FOMO is a huge deal. Maybe for you, you could care less. But as a leader, you definitely do not want FOMO. Being a leader means you are aware of your surroundings, you are aware of yourself, you are aware to other people, what their needs are. Like, you are in tune. It's a lot of work. And I can understand why somebody would be afraid of that. But don't let the fear of working keep you from playing the game, right? I totally twisted that saying, but for sure. So now the second thing that we're going to look at today for today's episode, you guys, I'm so excited about today's episode that I can't even breathe. I get so like into it. I'm like, I hold my breath. So just let me breathe, okay? So today, the second part for today, the second point is we interpret leadership as being big boss bitch energy. I'm being so real and raw. And maybe some of you who are listening are like, oh my God, she just cursed. She just said the B word. Oh, she said ass. Like, I get it. Okay. Like, calm down. We're being real humans here. Okay. And so this big boss bitch energy, like, it sounds fun and it sounds cute, but it's not cute. Okay. Because a lot of times that means diva. That means a drama diva, right? That HBIC, head bitch in charge. Like, I am not a fan of this terminology because it's a mindset problem. If you start calling yourself a bitch, a diva, a boss bitch diva, like that is not good for you. You'll start calling yourself other horrible names and degrading yourself. You'll be calling yourself, stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid. Or I'm such a foolish woman. Or of course I would do that because I'm so dramatic. Like, I know that I am dramatic, but I don't go around calling myself a drama queen. And I don't go calling around other people drama queens or divas or any of that. And when I do, it's totally like a slip of the tongue. It's totally completely joking. And a lot of times, like, I feel terrible about it afterwards. So don't let these things come to your mind. No name calling. Okay. I have done this, as you know, and we just can't allow this kind of mindset thing to continue. We are already in a very stereotypical, stereotyped industry. And then you throw in big boss bitch energy. That is toxic. Okay. And here's why. So you come up with your own idea of what that looks like. And maybe one day you think that looks like mafia wife. Another day you might see it as a zenned out hippie. And besides all this fluff, big boss energy is the vibe. All right. So you everybody has an idea of what this looks like. So everybody's already stereotyping everybody in an already stereotyped industry. And then you're going to throw this wrench into the mix. Like, it's too much. So here's what you got to do. If you want to like empower yourself, okay? This is a vibe. That's what I meant by that. So if you're going to have this energy, you got to come up with something that one works for you. If you like structure, and you are just coming out of Cosmo School, you are a brand new boss, you are a stylist working in a salon, spa, or barbershop, like, you need to find what you like. If you like structure, find a boss, mentor, someone that you can look up to in business who fits your version of success. My version of success is red bottom shoes. I talk about it a lot. And the day that I get these red bottom shoes, everybody's going to lose their mind. I am definitely going to lose my shit because I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I got my red bottom shoes. What? Shut the front door. So that is my self-proclaimed, I've made it. Okay. And so for you, that could be something else. That could be like a month-long vacation in Europe or something. Like you need to figure out yourself. And that's what I do in my coaching is that I help salon and spa professionals, beauty and barber pros discover themselves. So coaching doesn't always have to be about business. Coaching a lot of times is about who am I? What is it that I like? Why do I like that? Who do I want to be as a wife, as a mother, as a leader? Because this episode is all about leadership. Who do I want to be? And so in the coaching programs that I have, we look on that. We work it out. We brainstorm. We do a lot of journaling. We do a lot of crying. And so I encourage you that if you are in that era, reach out to me on Instagram, send me a message. Let's sign you up for coaching because the sooner you can figure out yourself, the better the leader you're going to be. I promise you that. So that's that. You got to, and then once you find out yourself, then you know your version of success. You will know if you want to be, a backwoods Barbie and you just want to like be in the woods, hunting or chilling out with the dogs or just going to the beach every day. Like you will know because you know who you are. I know some of you want to be platform artists, but do you know what it takes? Or do you have the mindset to know what that takes? And that's where coaching happens. My 1-to-1 3-month coaching program is very custom. And we shed a lot of tears together and it's great. It's a cleansing experience. Check out the reviews on my website. But anyway, so that's all number 1. Number 2 is a servant leader. So if you just gasped right now, you probably can't believe I just said we have to be servants, right? Like, who the hell does she think she is telling me that I have to be a servant? Yeah, right. Get the heck out of here. No, but it's true. Like, if you look up the history of hairdressing, even the word itself, we are dressing the hair, right? The hairdressing started with the kings and queens, when they had their little maidservants in with them, and they would be like, dress my hair. And they would be like, okay, I think today we should do braids, madame. And then she'd be like, okay, let's do it. That kind of thing. So hairdressing has always been a servanthood. And so a servant leader is someone who gets down and dirty with you. We find the solutions together. We don't just lead from a distance. We don't lead from the front, right? And like leave you behind. Leaders don't do that. Leaders, they're there right there with you. They're holding your hand, kicking your ass at the same time. Someone who is real AF with you when it comes to what could we have done better? How can we avoid that in the future? A servant leader is the one who leads with the heart and not the ego. Sometimes leading with the heart means making tough calls that no one wants to make. That means like if you are in a leadership position or like you're a manager or you're an owner or a suite owner, that looks like letting a team member go, letting a client go, knowing when to shut down your salon, shop, or spa, knowing when to push yourself, your team, into the next phase of their career. Like I tell my staff that now, like when they have a client that is asking for something that they don't want to do, I'm like, listen, if I am not pushing you out of your comfort zone, like if you are not hating me at times, I'm not doing my job. Because 1, the salon needs to make money. 2, we need to promise what we advertise. And 3, you need to grow as a person. And if you are an employee of mine, I'm going to push you. You can fight me, but you will thank me later. Whether later means 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever. So that's a tough call. So if you um if you want to be a leader, that's what it means. Sometimes it even looks like holding somebody back, which nobody talks about that. Sometimes you got to hold somebody back so that they can master one particular area to move to the next. I don't have any kids, but it's very much like parenting, I feel like. I do have a beagle, and he's 2 years old, and he is the most stubborn being I have ever encountered. Kind of like myself, but we're not talking about me. So, like this dog, for example, I do not let my dog, I only have one. I do not let him on the furniture and I do not let him on the bed. But for some reason, he has been sleeping on the bed when I'm not home. And when I am in a deep sleep, all of a sudden, I can't pull my covers over. I can't spread my legs when I am in my bed. Like I can't take over my bed because he is on there. And it is a very stubborn thing that I'm going through right now. And this is what I mean. Like sometimes you have to do tough love and push whoever it is to their fullest potential. So guess what I'm doing? Crate training. He's in the crate right now, right next to me, and he was crying just before. So you got to do hard things so you can get great things. Okay? I'm talking about the golden heart leaders that no one talks about. I'm talking about these golden heart leaders that, you know, they want to see you grow. And that means sometimes they got to hold you back. Sometimes they got to push you, but they are definitely not going to be the ones that toxify your life and your bubble. And there are people who will say that they're doing that, but they're actually bringing so much toxicity to you. It's incredible. And those are the people that ruin it for everybody else. So us good leaders get a bad rap. So that's why I say it's leading from the heart, because you have to be vulnerable no matter what. I know a lot of us don't like to wear our heart on our sleeve because that's a form of weakness. I'm not going to let my weakness show. Hell no. But when you do, you actually reveal your strength because you know that that's what you're weak in. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid and say, no, 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 I'm not going to damage anybody's hair because I don't want anybody coming back to me and saying that. Well, you know what? You need to break that, because what are you going to do? You're going to sit here for 5 hours doing somebody's hair at 200 degrees? No. Okay. Okay. So, number 3, fear of success and fear of failure. These two, oh my gosh, even for myself, I get these confused. But it comes up a lot when it comes to leadership, especially in the beauty industry. You'll hear a lot of stories, especially from me, about how, it just happened. I have several of those stories, and it really is true. I was teaching some classes at Premier Orlando, and some people I was like, yeah, well, I tell everybody actually, like, it literally did just happen. Like, I was not expecting to be an educator. Like, I wasn't like, I wanted it to be, but I wasn't expecting to be a part of the show. And so that's why I'm like, it just happened. Like, that's so cool. And it is true that a lot of things just happen. But then there's others where they're literally breaking their necks to get it going, to get whatever the dream is going. And I have those stories too. And I would say that Orlando Premier was one of them, you know? But either one of these examples mean we have to be so self-aware and so into like knowing about ourselves that we can get lost in our passions. Okay. And we are either paying no attention at all and just living it up, or we are zoned in too hard, too close, that we white knuckle it and overthink it. Okay. So those are two aspects. So if you want stories of it just happened, figure out who you are, know who you are and what you want, and get lost in it. Get so involved that you don't even realize that time is passing because you are so into and loving what you're doing. Okay. But you definitely don't want something so badly that you white knuckle it. You white knuckle it, you overthink it, and then you lose it. A good example of that is kind of like Pepe Le Pew, right? If you guys don't know who Pepe Le Pew is, go on YouTube, look it up. Pepe Le Pew is a skunk, and he is in love with a cat who he thinks is also a skunk. And he loves her so much that he doesn't know it, but he's white knuckling her, wanting her to love him so bad that she runs away from him every single time. You don't want that. You don't want to be Pepe Le Pew. And so today, the third point is about not having a fear of success or a fear of failure. You know, fear of success is all about the fear of owning your shit. All right. Being the boss you were always meant to be, having millions of dollars, living your dream, owning a Fortune 500 company, getting more investments. Like you are afraid of that because why? Because of mindset, rejection, new levels of growth means new devils, means new versions of you. And like you are afraid of who that person is going to be. Like you are afraid of probably outgrowing your friends and family. You know, this happens a lot with drug dealers. You know, they realize what they're doing is like not good and they grow and they just become wholesome, if I can use that word. And they just decide to grow up. And what happens? They grow out of their old toxic relationships. They grow out of um, toxic friends and family members. Like they become healthy when they're in an unhealthy environment. And so you can't stay there. And so fear of success is being afraid that you're going to outgrow yourself. So you got to own who you are and not be afraid of it. And then the fear of failure, okay, is never taking the risk. It's um paralysis analysis. You are paralyzed because that's all you're thinking about. You're always analyzing the situation and you never take the risk. You never take the jump to do that crazy daring thing because you're afraid of being embarrassed. You're afraid of rejection. You're just afraid. And it's holding you back so you never make the first move. Think of a guy who never goes in for the kiss and wonders why he's single. Okay? It's the same thing here, okay? So, guys, if any of you are not going in for the kiss, stop wasting everybody's time, okay? Go in for the kiss. But anyway, I want to encourage you in this realm of leadership that if you want to have people under you looking up to you in the business world and what you've accomplished, you cannot be afraid of failing. You have to do the thing that scares you most. If that means doing 400 degrees heat on a flat iron service, do it. Okay. But use your common sense if the person doesn't already have broken hair. Like, don't do that. But if it's perfectly virgin hair, like it's okay. Nothing's going to happen to the hair. You're going to be okay. All right. But anyway, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid of reaching your goals, creating new goals. You cannot lead anyone without heart, and you definitely cannot lead anyone without the proper mindset of who you are, what you have to offer, what you want, why. You got to do the mindset work first before you start dishing it out on others. Okay? this is where my, one-to-one coaching comes in. I have had coaches on so many different things in my life, like my physical coaches to keep me looking amazing naked. I have coaches to help me with intimacy issues. I have coaches to help me with my personal mindset and personal belief system. I have coaches who help me stay up to date with knowing how to help people in their intimate, areas of life, such as business. You have to do the work. And so for me, I like to offer that to beauty and barber pros because it's so important. We are always on the go, 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 and we forget who we are, what we want, and when do we want it. And so I wanted to really touch on that and clear the air on fear of success and fear of failure. And so, as far as the leadership goes in the salons and spas and barbershops, this is what I have to say about that. For those of you who have listened to this episode all the way up to now, I'm going to give you some practical tips too. Okay. So if you want to be a leader in your salon and spa, one, be the first to arrive. Within reason, okay, don't be creepy. If you open at 9 and you get there at 7 and you wait for 2 hours, come on, we're talking about, insurance here and like insurance of the landlord and like all these things. So like, don't be weird, but be the first to show up and the last to leave. Why? This shows everybody around you that, including your current leadership in the salon, this shows that your initiative. It shows you're willing to do the hard parts. You're willing to be humble. And this allows you to not have FOMO also. So if you have a fear of missing out on stuff, when you are the first to leave, first to arrive, and last to leave, you don't have that problem because you have seen the full scope of the day. Okay. You get to see and learn all the aspects of the industry and of your specific salon's culture, what you like, what you dislike, etc. It's really an awesome thing. And I know it probably sounds like a drag and like a waste of time, but it's really not, especially if you're wanting a leadership position where you are. So I highly encourage that. I remember being in college and I was interning at a public relations firm in Jacksonville. And I would always hear them say that, offer yourself more, do more, be available. Right. And for me at the time, I was spread pretty thin, right? I was doing an internship. I was volunteering at the zoo. So I was working at the zoo and I also had a job as well. I wish I could have done more, but I was already doing more. So that's a good problem to have. So now the second practical tip that I want to offer is do the tasks in the salon that no one likes to do and master those. Like perms. I know everybody freaking hates perms. Like nobody likes doing them. And I know like they're kind of going out of style right now, but if you don't know how to do them and you get a perm, guess what happens? You lose money. Okay. So make sure you master those things. I actually had a conversation about this on the BeautyPro podcast, episode 31 with Brad Poirier. And even I had the same conversation on his own podcast, the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. And he said this, and he said that he was able, and he has been able to do all the things that he has done up until this point, from owning salons, working behind the chair, educating stylists, to running beauty industry cruises. Like he has been able to do all these things because he mastered the things everyone hated doing. And he mastered the things that he himself hated doing. Like he talks about how he hated school And so what he would do is he would show up every day to get in, get out, get it over with. And then he ended up having perfect attendance. Like, what? Like, that's crazy to me, right? But that's what I'm talking about here. That's a practical tip. So if you hate doing the laundry, if you hate cleaning the toilets in the bathrooms, cutting foils, doing inventory, whatever, you go faster and do those things. Master those things. That way, you can test out when you have to hire your replacement to do those. Do you know what I mean? So master those things and get so good that when your replacement comes, you can be the ones to educate that person. And then boom, guess what? Leadership position. You're educating them to do it. So the third practical tip is if you really want to be a leader in your life, your salon, spa, barbershop, don't ask anyone to do something that you would not do or something that you have not done. For me, if you listen to episode 1 of the BeautyPro podcast and you listen to my story, you'll know that I am not a licensed stylist, esthetician, or barber. I'm not, but I am a salon and spa owner. And so I cannot teach or tell my staff how to cut hair or what colors are going to look best or oh my gosh, what colors are going to be best on which levels and toners and so on and so forth to create the finished look. I can't because I don't know. Okay. But I can, and I do teach them how to better their communication, their body language, how to market themselves, what works, what doesn't work, what works great for the, what do we call it in PR? The courtroom of public opinion. I can teach them that and how to present themselves as a professional because I am experienced and licensed with university degrees and certifications in that. I can teach them how to create their own business plans and their own business and set up their framework and guidebooks and pay structures because I have done it and I have my own salon and spa. Right? So think about that. Don't be preaching to somebody on something that you don't even know anything about. And then to wrap it up really quickly, let me just add this. If you are an owner of a salon with employees, I have a deep conviction that you should know how to do all the aspects of your business. Okay. I know a little bit of everything. I am not one to tell you which formulas to use, but I can tell you that you got to do your sections. You got to part them like this and like that. When you blow dry the hair, you got to get to the very root of the hair to keep it nice and sleek. Like, I know a little bit about all of it, but I am not a master of it because I don't do that. So that also means you have to know the computer, the salon spa software. Know at least the basics so you know how to check people out, book appointments, know little minor issues that go on with the program. Because if you don't know, you are handing over complete control to those who do not care about your vision the same way as you do. No one is going to love your baby like you. Remember that, please. It's so important. Just know a little bit about it, right? Anyway, so that is today's episode. I really hope that this helped you. I hope you took notes. I hope you save it, you download it, share it with a friend, family member, whoever, because I don't want you to still be afraid of that dreaded L word. Like if you are afraid of leadership, I want you to DM me. DM me the word leadership in my Instagram messages. Like, I don't want you to be afraid of being an excellent leader. There's an old saying that says the best leaders are usually the ones who don't want to be the leader, but they have no other choice. And if that's you and you don't even know where to begin, I want you to email me at befree@thebeautyprocoach.com. It's also on my Instagram page. Email me, send me a DM, because I really want you to get in on one of my coaching programs, whether it's the intensive coaching program, or just a 3-month program where we can brainstorm together and work out these little things that you have going on personally. Because I can tell you, and so can all of the other clients that I've had, you can read their reviews on my website, that coaching really is life transforming. So I can't wait to see you blossom and grow into the best leader you can be. Go out there, get it done. Let's go. And don't be afraid. There is no reason to be afraid anymore. I'll talk to you soon. If you loved this episode, subscribe to the BeautyPro podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to leave your reviews, stars, feedback so I can continue bringing the content you deserve and want most. Your feedback fuels this podcast. The more you give, the more you get back. You can follow me at The BeautyPro Coach on Instagram and Facebook. Want to contact me directly? Email me at befree@goldentruthcoaching.com.